morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Rail Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It's Friday, my dudes.
It is Friday, my dudes. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Josh Corey, and it is an absolute pleasure to be able to hang out with you all this morning. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I am joined this morning by two of my very good friends, starting with one Mr. Walter Johnson, or Flat Earth Head, as he is lovingly known on the YouTubes. Walter, how you doing? Walter's muted.
Down left, sir.
There you go. How you doing?
That's my computer then, because I've been unmuted for a few seconds now. Interesting. I'm fine. I'm lovely. I'm waking up, as my computer is as well. So I'm ready. I'm doing this thing, man. It's Friday. We made it through a crazy week. Of course, I don't know if there's anything except crazy weeks anymore. So, but I'm here and I'm ready for Friday. What's that other dude doing over there on the right coast?
What is that other dude doing? One Mr. Zachary Zabala, or he is lovingly known as Good Times for All on YouTube. Zach, how you doing?
Hey guys, hey everybody out there. Is that too loud in the background there?
It's passable. That'd be all right.
Okay. I just try to be outside when I do the show because I get loud sometimes. And it's early. They're not the early birds like me. So I try to do my best not to disturb them too much. But no, we're at the new house. Getting stuff moved in here, Bob and Cammy's. And it's just gorgeous, man. Really, it's grown on me a lot. Spending one night here. That's all it took. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. The backyard and everything. I'm in love with that. But the house is just, it really is. It's just a well-built, sturdy little, it's got a bunch of little neat, places that I wouldn't call them hidden, but it has like a big, giant root cellar. Or not a root cellar, but a crawl space. But the crawl space is like 6 feet tall. I can walk in it no problem. And I've never seen anything like that before. It's got different storage. It's got a huge attic. You could put another like two rooms up there easy. Yeah, it's a neat little place. The old man who built this place took care of it. And he loved it, you could tell.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so they got themselves a nice little, a good find, I think. And the neighborhood's really nice. A lot of older people, but so friendly. Bob is just blown away about the Southern hospitality down here. He cannot get over it. He's used to, big city Denver type stuff, that type of attitude. We're here, he's like, everybody's just smiling and they're so willing to help. And he's like, it's crazy. I've never been treated like this. But yeah, Southern hospitality for you.
Yeah, it really is interesting the way that's regional behaviors in the U.S. like that. take your West Coast versus your Southern hospitality and see how the people act differently. It really is unique.
Yeah, Karen B came and just dropped by yesterday. It was so cool. We were just sitting there. Cammy was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
That is really cool. I'm happy for them all. I'm excited for you too, Zach. You're going to be having some fun here real soon.
Yeah, I'm going to Karen B's today. We're gonna get those trees turned into chairs, kinda. Ted and I. Kind of nervous. Haven't taken down a big tree like that in quite some time. And it's within falling distance of the house. So, yeah. It'll be interesting.
That should be pretty interesting for sure.
Well, how are you doing, Josh? How's your week been going?
Yeah, it's been going all right, I guess. It was a long week after coming back from a long weekend last weekend where I got to be able to relax and enjoy time with my wife and be inside of a house that's not cluttered full of shit. So coming home was a bit of a shock to the system again, unfortunately. So it took all of about 4 minutes being home to completely undo 4 days of rest and relaxation. So there's been a little bit of tension in the air around here just for that reason. To the extent that I think maybe it's in order to save my relationship with my mother, I may have to abandon her in her old age to her own devices, because I don't think that living together is conducive for any sort of relationship. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, especially in this case, I think. I would much rather see her once every couple of weeks and be able to maintain a relationship rather than live with her and know that she hasn't fallen and can't get up, but I just have nothing but resentment towards her. So it may be we're going to have to be moving. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for anybody here. I spent too many decades working and getting rid of all of my anger, only to have it be brought back now at 43 years old because of my mother. So it may be we're going to be moving off into our own little place here before too long. I think we're going to be keeping our eyes open, and God willing, we'll be somewhere out in the woods where I don't have to listen to the hum of a highway and be surrounded by neighbors on all sides. Where I can have a bit of privacy would be real nice. So bittersweet. It is what it is. She actually took off and spent the night at her friend's house. This was our first night home without her here in 6 months. So my son was at his friend's house. My mom was at her friend's house. So the wife and I just took the time to enjoy one another's company in honor of last weekend when we did get to, but it was nothing now more than a faded memory. But we had a really good time just hanging out, she and I, the both of us, for a few hours. I actually got to bed pretty late because we were just up chit-chatting. So I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep right now. And I still have 8 hours of work and another 10 hours of have no sphere tonight, as we tend to do. Because I think tonight's going to be an exciting one.
I don't know how you whippersnappers do it.
Coffee? Nectar of the gods? Now, ask me again at about 1:30 how the hell it is I do it, and I'll mumble something about not being able to, probably tell you to fuck off and just fall over asleep in my chair. But beyond that, I think I'll be all right. That's what keeps the
here's to
engine humming.
For sure. Well, man, I wish I could give you some good advice on this whole situation with Mom. It sounds like you're headed with a good place for it. So it's definitely tough. I know that I have some hoarder instincts myself, so it's a little difficult sometimes to let things go when you're in that mindset. So I can also see Mom's side of this whole thing, unfortunately. But yeah, sending
I
you
know
guys
you
lots of
can,
love.
Walt. I know you can.
Yeah, you do.
Dale loved it when I came by because Walt was willing to part with some of his.
That's right.
his
That's right.
things.
Zach helped me load out, so it can be done. There are ways it can be done. Yep, for sure. So we'll definitely send in lots of love and lots of positivity to that situation, for sure. For sure.
Oh, we appreciate it. Dixie says hi to everybody. I woke
Hi.
her up when I was
Hi.
getting up this morning. So she wished me a good show and wanted me to tell everybody hello for her. So
We'll tell her hello back, for sure. For sure.
Waking up, Dixie. Jeez.
I know,
How long
right?
you been doing this now?
It's her own fault. I get up quietly. Every Friday, every Tuesday, it's the same thing. Alarm goes off at 3. I'm out of bed by 3:02 at the latest. She knows the score. I just think she hadn't quite fully gotten to sleep. She's kind of got some weird sleep cycles and doesn't really get any of that deep sleep.
I understand that one, unfortunately, too.
So, yeah, that deep REM sleep, she gets little to none. So, yeah, she wakes up quite a bit during the day. Her sleep tracker only tracks like a third of the sleep that she gets because it's just not enough to actually register as sleep, I guess.
Oh, she better get that right, though, because you got to get that download at night. Remember what Nuka Luka's sister said. Oh, we don't want to miss that download.
Yeah,
Big shout out to everybody in chat.
Yes,
Definitely.
thank you.
I
Yes.
was in there typing for half a second and started
I'm not awake yet.
sympathizing
I'll be in there
with
in
your
a sec.
situation. Yeah, trying. Still trying. My goodness. For sure, for sure. I've been just spending a whole lot of time here at the house of late, getting rid of things, actually. Just since my son's not in the house anymore, we didn't want what was happening to get worse because his room had suddenly become the new storage room. So I was going to make that my little guitar area so I could jam a little louder when I wanted to. So, yeah, definitely a lot of, maybe it's a good time for that. Maybe it's why it's happening. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the planets or the...
Got to trim the fat. Times are getting lean.
depressions on the big ball we're on. I don't know what's going on with those other places. I don't know. But definitely trying to get some things, I guess, in order or a little more manageable for mobility's sake. So, yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Just in case you need to uproot quick.
You never know.
You never know.
You never do know.
It's always good to have that ready to go just in case. I do appreciate
you. Guys know... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to tell Walt I appreciate him throwing all these stories into the show prep because, again, hanging out with Dixie, I didn't do jack shit last night. And I was laying there getting ready to fall asleep. I said, and I could hear my phone going off. I said, man, I sure hope to hell all of those rings have been Walter just dumping stuff in that show prep room. She says, oh, Dixie said, you haven't done any show prep tonight, have you? I said, nope, not a one. That's why I hope that's Walter. So I grabbed my phone and popped it open and boom, 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 boom. There they all were right there in the show prep. I said, oh, thank goodness. Just made my morning.
Well, then I guess I need to admit some things as well. I had quite a little hectic day yesterday, just between guitar and hanging out with Shell. So those were, as you saw, last minute and quickly done. Definitely not really even sure what most of it is. Some of them I did kind of speed read through, the ones that were interesting right away. There's a couple, though, that I can't wait to see what we're going to open. It's going to be a surprise for all of us. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there were some really good ones in there. Some were just a little more than a couple little sentences, which I thought were kind of interesting. Let's see, which one did I just see that I thought was really strange? Oh, yeah. The one from Japan. Talking about turmeric. I thought was really interesting because if you drink too much, apparently the Japanese have their cure for a hangover. And real quick, just a really short story. While superfoods contain the kind of nutritional value that make them, well, super, turmeric goes above and beyond. The plant, a superfood found right here on Okinawa, not only improves health, but also helps cure hangovers. Turmeric, or ukon in Japanese, is a kind of ginger known as a spice for Indian curry, and in Japan it is mostly recognized as a food that can help avoid hangover. This recognition can be ascribed to the ukon no shikara, power of turmeric. Turmeric, the very popular beverage for hangover prevention. Now, with many people turning to the power of turmeric to avoid nausea, headache, or vomiting after a night of drinking, the benefits of the food are well known in the country. The Japan Superfood Association lists turmeric as a superfood that helps liver function and to support the system in dissolving and getting rid of cholesterol. Ayumi Katsuyama, managing director of the association, explained it as a specific kind of turmeric that's played a part in the popularity of the food. That was it. Didn't specify exactly what kind of turmeric, what kind of specific kind of turmeric is best, but still, it's something I'd never considered
I've
for a
learned
hangover.
about turmeric is pretty much if you can get your hands on any, it's better than none. Because while with like any plant that they've discovered has benefits, they've taken it and, tried to separate the better parts out so they can figure out if they can synthesize some kind of super drug they can charge us for. But even the health area, they've kind of taken it and so this brand will carry a version that has more leaf than root, or more plant stalk than root, or not the same kind of the root, or it's been processed root differently, that kind of crap, just to make you spend more money. So don't think you have to spend a whole lot of money for some special super version of turmeric or cumin. There's ones that even have the black pepper already inside the capsule with it. So, which if you didn't know, black pepper makes it work better. Your body absorbs it more
up to 10
readily
times
and
better.
efficiently. It's part of the actual golden milk that I hope Liz, I saw in chat, is still having her cold. So I hope Liz has been dabbling in some golden milk. For sure, sending you some healing energy, lady. I know you got a big day tomorrow out there protesting.
I saw somebody in our chat on
just
Tuesday.
get your hands on some if it even if it's the kind in the spice shelf in your house already there for cooking. It's the same thing. Use it. If you can stand the flavor, go for it. If you can't, you can buy little gelatin capsules at your local health food store, or you can conveniently order them online and fill your own capsules. I've done it myself. All right, that's enough advertising for turmeric.
There was somebody in our chat last Tuesday morning. We were talking about golden milk, and somebody had mentioned adding black pepper will amplify your turmeric up to like 10 times, he said.
Oh, yeah.
I think vaguely. So that's definitely one of those.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, currently, if I open my turmeric bottle, there's probably about 7 or 8 of my own black pepper capsules. There's one right there on the camera if you're on YouTube. Black pepper. So I even stuffed my own pepper capsules. I should learn how to load our ammo. Same idea, right? Load your own.
Load
your own.
I used to do cayenne pepper pills for people.
Another amazing.
Yeah, blood circulation, helps your arteries and veins.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. I love some cayenne pepper, and then dark chocolate actually is really good for your veins and arteries. Not big amounts, of course, but just I used to eat like 2 or 3 pieces of Amish dark chocolate every night.
Yeah, my son got me on the high cacao versions of chocolate. Every now and again, I would go through a phase where I wanted some kind of just dark chocolate in general growing up, but it was never my favorite. But once I started learning about the benefits, and like my son, he's a nut. He'll eat 92%, and it's like, dude, that's just pour cocoa powder on your tongue at that point. But yeah, it definitely, it's also one. In fact, he had a chocolate bar one time that had the pepper in it already. So that was just ready to go. You pure health in a chocolate bar.
The Aldi's grocery store has some of the best dark chocolate out there. Better than like the big expensive ones you can find at the chain stores, all the big dark chocolates that people would recognize. But you can buy
Giraldi's and stuff like that.
Yep, and they have the spicy chocolates, and they have the mint chocolates and salted caramel. All this is the dark chocolate, but you can also get just the plain dark chocolate, one at like 86 and I think one at like 92. And those are definitely my favorite. I can eat one whole bar a day if I wanted to, but I try not to because that's a lot of chocolate.
I still remember the first time as a kid, I found the big bar of chocolate in the pantry at, my aunt's house. I was like, what is this? Breaking it open, taking a big bite and going, trying to wipe it off my tongue because it was just pure bacon chocolate.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Daz in chat says he loves, too, his fine German groceries, which you can often find in Aldi's. Aldi's has the best snack if you can find it. My Aldi's does not carry it regularly. They're called peanut puffs. Think of like a cheese puff, only it's just the corn puff, but it's been flavored with peanut butter. So it's just peanuts and like corn puffs. But they're so damn addictive. The dogs go crazy for them. I go crazy for them. If you can find them, I highly recommend them, but it can cause a little chaos in my household. Peanut puffs. Keep an eye out.
Something new and sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous. It is. Now, let's see. What the hell are we doing?
Well, we got a few minutes before the break. When we get back, remind me I learned something about plants.
Ooh.
That is so obvious, and I never realized it. And I just feel dumb, but I guess not, because I've never heard anybody else really talk too much about this. So I don't feel that dumb. But I know it happens for sure. I know it does. Being a gardener for so long, you just pick up on it when you talk to other gardeners, and you'll have certain years. It's just like, dude, I have like 1,000 pickles. And your people at work, they're like, hey, I have 1,000 pickles too. This happens for a reason. And these plants, I don't know how, but it's like they're all communicating with each other. Every oak tree, they go through cycles and they make so many seeds, acorns. And then like every so many years, they have this crazy where they have like 7-8 times as many acorns that year. And every oak tree, they all do it the same year. It's not like this oak tree is this old, so it does it now, and this oak tree is this old. No. They always do it all together on the same years. Sometimes science doesn't know why, how they do it. Some say it's due to weather and this and that and yada, yada, yada. I think they're talking somehow. Or they're all, I don't know. I don't know how it works, man, but for plants to do that, miles apart, like everywhere, they'll all be like, hey, let's produce a whole bunch of this year. And they say it's for like, it's kind of like pest control. They only make so much food each year to, supply so many squirrels. So it kind of keeps the squirrel population in check. But that one year, they'll have a bunch of them. So squirrels are in heaven, They're like, dude, I'm going to bury so many acorns. And they go and they bury all these acorns all over, and they can't even eat them all. There's so many. So a lot of these caches don't ever get used, and therefore you have a lot more oak trees sprouting up on those years. And then they go back to keeping the population down by only producing so much. Because if they produce that much every year, then the squirrel population would increase. And it really wouldn't, So yeah, these plants are like consciously planning out spreading their own seed across the land. All together at the same time, they're consciously doing this somehow. It just blows my mind. It's amazing. It is. It really is. It's just a beautiful thing when you step back and try to put it together. I want to know how. I guess we covered that before the break.
We did cover that before the break, just in time, too.
Perfectly, sir.
That's really interesting, though. I want to ponder on that during the break while I get coffee. Because I'm reminded of mushrooms and fungi and how they communicate as a large organism underground. Anyway, this is the Ironworks. Zach, Walt, and Josh hanging out this morning. We'll be right back after these briefest of messages.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Jacob Frank Leibovich is the mastermind behind a global network of satanic cults. He taught that the creator God was evil. Jacob Frank proclaimed himself as the true Messiah. He vowed never to tell the truth. He rejected every moral law and declared that the only way to a new society was through the total destruction of civilization. Murder, rape, incest, and the drinking of blood were perfectly acceptable actions and rituals. His followers established the Marxist system and have infiltrated Islam and Judaism. He was the Messiah of the Illuminati.
EnigmaTV.com.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
listening to the Ironworx on TFR. Break clear of the fear.
And welcome back to the second segment of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Just hanging out, having a nice, relaxing show this morning. We were supposed to have Jonathan from Jersey hang out with us, but in all of the things that I didn't do last night for the show, calling and reminding Jonathan was one of them. Thought about it twice. I can specifically remember thinking, you know what, I better call Jonathan just to make sure he doesn't forget about the morning. Never did. So I went to go message him this morning before the show. I had missed him. He went to bed just about the time I was getting up. So it looked like about 3 a.m. is when he went inactive, which was just about the time I became active. So sent him a message on Facebook, sent him a text message on his phone, but to no avail. So maybe he'll pop in here. Stranger things have happened, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Chances are he's going to be up for a while. But that's all right. That's sort of one of the charms of Driffoger is his spontaneity. You just never know what the hell that cat's going to do.
He's a wild card.
Is he planning on going to Flattoberfest this October 24th in Greenville, South Carolina?
I know he's talking about it. But you know the wild card that is Jonathan.
Yeah.
But he's mentioned it. I think he's going to be passing through that way not too terribly long. I think he's making moves and heading south himself. So he may be passing through, and I think he might make a special trip back up for Flattoberfest. I know it's been discussed. I know he had mentioned it. We'll see if he actually does it.
Well, for those who can't make it to Flattoberfest, we are currently looking into the internet there, the data speed and all that kind of good stuff to see if we can actually live stream it.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah, just hook it up to a couple P900s and, at least it probably won't be an all-day thing because a lot of it, they're taking a different stance than like the FDIC where it was, you had 5 minutes in between speakers and it was this speaker and then this speaker and then this all day for 3 days. This is going to be a speaker and then you get, an hour or so to just sit around and talk, and the speakers will just be hanging out and everybody, because that was the one thing that people, I don't want to say complained about, but they didn't really have that much time to just sit and chat with the speakers. One speaker would talk, they'd get done, and then half the time the speakers wanted to see the other speakers talking too, stuff like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of mingling time in between speakers. There was a lot of people racing. I need to get to this stage, and then I got to get to this one at this time because I want to see these people. And so I thought it was a great idea. Karen B is spreading it out a little bit more and giving you time in between each speaker to just hang out. Everybody can it's one big giant room. Yeah, I think it's going to work out great. There's there's going to be different booths and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm liking the way that she's setting it up. I think it'll be more hands-on for the people that are there.
And I think that's really what you want. You got to find that balance. You don't just want like social hour. You don't want to do all that traveling and all that planning and prep.
Yeah, just a meetup.
Right, just to meet up.
Just to have a meetup.
But you also don't want to have a super scheduled itinerary where every minute of every day is planned out, so you don't really have any room for improvisation and just hanging out and chit-chatting and getting to know each other. You got to find that real delicate balance. So I think Karen might be right on the right track with that.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's just, that's the one thing that it's nice to see the speakers, Some people have never got to see any of these people before, like do a presentation. So it is neat seeing that. But at the same time, for people who have been at this for a long time, and they've seen, every Rob Skiba thing, every Glowbuster thing, every, David Weiss video or interview. They've seen them say everything. There's not a whole lot new going on in Flat Earth. There's little things here and there. But just to get the chance to go up to them and, have a conversation with them instead of just hearing them talk on a stage and then never seeing that person again, I think, people are going to really enjoy this just a little bit more. I'm not saying they didn't enjoy all the FEICs, but I think a little bit more laid back attitude is really what we need. Because we're not so much social butterflies in society, but I tell you, when you get around a bunch of awoke people, the energy that you get, you're not going to shut up for days afterwards, probably. For real, it's so easy to just talk to people at these things. Because you're around people that you can say almost, just about anything. And nobody's going to judge you, or nobody's going to think you're crazy or a conspiracy theorist. So yeah, you kind of, after the first hour or two at being in one of these things, you kind of let your guard down. You really do. You're not on that, hey, I got to watch what I say. Hey, is this person going to think I'm a nutter? There is none of that anymore. All that goes out the window, and you just turn into this social butterfly.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's a really cool feeling. I'm excited. I can't wait. And I guess Zen Garcia, I don't think it's this weekend. It might be this. No, it's probably next weekend. In Atlanta, Georgia, is putting on his conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I haven't caught anything from Zen lately. He's one of those guys who has a lot of later shows and stuff like that. But I forget who all is going to be there. But it should be good. I'm sure if you just, Google search Zen Garcia, it'll pop right up. But yeah, in Atlanta, it's coming up here pretty soon. And I know Karen and Ted are going to be there helping out security and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't even know what it's called. I feel horrible. I just found out about it yesterday when Karen just stopped by. That is so cool.
What an awesome
Yeah,
new
I feel
reality.
bad about that whole thing too a little bit. When we first were here at TFR, I used to keep up with Zen quite a bit, and then just there's so much stuff out there to keep up with. I have completely not been keeping up for a long time. Oh, look, there Alan in chat says he does still do a show here. I was about to say, I'm not even sure, is he still here? Because I am so behind on everybody. He's also apparently on Revolution Radio, so I'll dig around and see if I can find the name for the conference.
Yeah, he and Rob Skiba, those two guys broke my brain when it came to the Bible and just
the
real history of it and the books that were removed and what they actually say, and wow.
Right, the Apocrypha, that's some of my favorite stuff.
It's Middle Earth pretty much. There's 6 upright walking different species that live on this Middle Earth that we live on. The center Earth is the North Pole. We're in the Middle Earth, and then the outer Earth, the outer ring, is Antarctica. This Middle Earth right here, supposedly, one of them was reptilian. But there's 6 different upright walking bipedal species that have intelligence. And this book was removed from the Bible. It's stuff like that that's just like, it goes along with, all this removed history and mud flood, just all this stuff. I mean, the amount of research those guys have put into all this stuff and, just trying to decode it so a normal average person can comprehend what's actually being said. Because it is, reading the Bible is like reading like British literature almost. You got to, they can comprehend it, but you go back and you read, an older Bible, and it's like reading Greek almost. I haven't even heard some of these words ever before being used, and definitely not in this order. Yeah, they're Man, Zen and Rob. I'm not sure if Rob's going to be there or not. I know he will be at Flattoberfest, though.
Sure wish I could go. We
I
are
was
waking up
just
in
thinking the
chat.
same thing, Josh.
We are waking up in chat. It says, maybe I'll go to one day. I'm the same way. Maybe one of these days I'll get out there. But I think Flattoberfest would probably be my speed. I don't know if they're still doing something in Vegas this year. Probably not would be my guess. Given that
Yeah,
it's
that's what I was wondering about a lot
September
of this.
already.
It's what's going to be going on
With
after
a lot
the
of
election.
COVIDious, people are kind of, they're wary of Vegas.
Yeah.
Here, it's a little different. There isn't even a mandate in South Carolina to wear a mask. So that was one of the big reasons she wanted to have it in South Carolina, because North Carolina is a little different. But yeah, in South Carolina, they're not really too stringent on the mask, and that was a big factor. That was like the factor. If we couldn't find a place that wasn't going to let us do it without the mask, then we just weren't going to, have it. As much as we love getting together with everybody, I mean, getting together and all having to be muzzled, yeah, that ain't going to fly for a bunch of flat earthers.
Nope.
So yeah, it worked out really nice.
I get the sneaking suspicion that social distancing may become an issue as well, too. No way flat earthers ain't going to be hugging each other, saying hello. At least,
yeah,
if I was there, I wouldn't.
Something about meeting that family you never knew you really had. It changes you. It really does.
Indeed. And I definitely know the vibe, the energy from back in my days of going to the UFO conferences and want to be in that environment a lot. Quite a bit. I miss it for sure.
Yeah. Kelly Lay in chat.
Yeah. I was just asking for some information for a contact there in chat from Kelly. So go ahead, sir.
In and around Macon County, North Carolina, Kelly's looking for a ride to Flattoberfest. Looking to buy all the gas and the food. If anyone's willing to blow through Western North Carolina, she is hankering to go badly. I'm assuming that's her. Not too many boys I've met named Kelly. Only a handful.
I know 3 or 4.
I know James True is coming from that direction.
Ooh. Well, there we go.
James, he's been on fire lately.
And we had Lana, I think, was sort of from that direction as well, too. She was going to come help you unpack with a few-hour drive there. Maybe we could try to reach back out to her, see if she plans on going to Flattoberfest. Very cool. Very cool. A loner and a bunch of loners. I know how
that's it. For sure. I see Liz in chat talking about the crater theory, which we never did get into really much, except John wanted to know, and I sent him some links about it Wednesday. So definitely I've reached out to the gentleman named Wim, who has the channel that is completely gone out of my head every time I try to remember it. I'm going to get it because I'm not going to not say it again after bringing it up. Let me see. Where's my history again that I'm about to crash my computer? Playing in YouTube. I should know better.
Should know better.
I never learn. I've got so much stuff in my history, man. It's ridiculous. It's because I don't watch real TV. I watch pretend real TV. It's turned into more commercials on frickin' Tube than there is anywhere else. It's called God Gev Lamstay is my best assumption of that pronunciation. I'm sure I'm murdering it and destroying it completely. I'll drop a link to his channel. It's the guy, John Levy. pointed a lot of people to on one of his videos recently, because everybody in the chat was saying the same thing. John pointed me over here, and I binged your channel all day, which is essentially what I did all weekend. I pretty much went from his first video all the way to about 6 months ago now. And then Michelle got interested and was like, wait, what? What are you talking? What's this about? Are you off the flat? And I'm like, it's a little more complicated than that. We'll talk about it if you want to know. So I went back to the first video for her, because it's really one of those things you have to watch his building of the model, or his figuring out of his model, and he puzzle pieces it together and changes his mind a couple times along the way, which is also something I really appreciated, that he didn't just stick to his first idea and go, this is it, this has to be that. He changed some things on the way. And so, yeah, definitely a great channel to check out if you want to know more about the crater concept, which has been explored before by other channels, I realize, but this guy, Wim, has taken it to a new level, put a bunch of other pieces into it, and yeah, there were a couple of those, oh, wow, flat earthy, bottom dropping out of your gut feelings watching some of his stuff. So, yeah, I'm digging it.
And I love people like that will have an open mind. And like you said, they don't just poo-poo an idea when it comes along because they didn't have it. You know, that's when you know somebody's really seeking knowledge and truth, is when they hear that ring from somebody else that you just feel it when you hear the truth. You get that little quiver going up your spine. When people are like, wow, that's amazing, I never thought of that, thank you. Then you know, okay, this person, they're about it. They don't care about making a name for themselves or getting recognition or this or that. They figured something out, they want to share it with people, and they know they don't have all the answers. You know, those are the people I really respect, and those are the people I like to follow. And I don't miss those videos when I find those people. Yeah, there's a lot to say about that when somebody can say, hey, you know what, that sounds a lot more realistic than what I was saying. Thank you. Yeah, that's
absolutely. Shout out to Alexander Lightwater there in chat, who had already given me the name while I was scrambling through my history trying to find it. Thank you. And also says it apparently means received a flame by God, or flamed by God, which is an awesome phrase. I like that a lot.
Me too. I really like that. That's really interesting. Flamed
sounds
by God.
Alchemical to me.
What was that, Zach?
Sounds alchemical to me.
Uh-huh.
God's practicing alchemy.
What I was thinking too. So, yep. We may have a show title. I thought I already had a show title earlier in Waking Up Dixie, because that just sounded like an awesome song from 1943. You'd hear somebody playing on a banjo, Waking Up Dixie. So that was going to be the show title, but I don't know. We may have a new winner.
I do like it. We do have some stories, believe it or not, and I do see Arwen had posted one in one of his chats on Skype that I thought was pretty interesting. Granted, it's naturalnews.com, of which I am not a big fan, but it seemed to be a pretty interesting story. The headline says, when the voices in your head are giving orders. Pentagon scientists say, quote, talking laser, end quote, that beams messages directly into your head. Coming soon. Been there already for a while, but let's see what.
Yeah, it sounds like some space lettuce to me.
Yeah, for real.
They were doing this, over 20 years ago?
Easily.
In the 90s, they actually applied this on the battlefield.
The voice of God.
So, yeah, this has been around for a long time. Yep. Voice to skull technology.
Uh-huh.
All 4 branches of the military have their own version with their own names for it. So, yeah, this has been around for a long time. It's not hidden. This is space lettuce.
So it says,
coming to you soon. 30 years ago.
it may sound like something you only see in science fiction, but experts say we may just be a few years away from talking lasers that have the power to beam messages right into our heads. A military initiative known as the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate is working on laser weapons that are capable of transmitting clear snippets of speech across great distances. The program develops ways to stun, deter, and otherwise stop adversaries without killing them. One weapon they're working on uses laser-induced plasma effect, which sees a high-powered laser being fired to create a ball of plasma. Then a second laser is then shot to oscillate the plasma, which has the effect of creating sound waves. When enough of these bursts are fired from the laser at the right frequencies, the vibrations of the plasma will sound just like human speech. This technology could be used by military personnel to target specific people with warnings or messages without putting themselves at risk. Yeesh. Military Times reports that a military-ready version of this weapon could be ready for use in 5 years. Although it can pass through glass into buildings, it cannot yet penetrate other types of solid barriers. The technology would therefore be best used for protecting static areas like permanent installations and forward bases. Experts say, however, with the right power source, it could be mounted to a small vehicle to serve as mobile crowd control to keep individuals away from convoys. These lasers and plasma balls could be used to keep perimeters secure instead of sending troops out there in person to tell people that they need to move. It can give voice commands such as stop or we'll be forced to fire upon you. Pentagon scientists are hoping to create a version of the laser that is capable of beaming clear messages hundreds of miles away. With such a laser, orders could even be sent down from an aircraft. These lasers can also be used to target people with heat that feels like microscopic pinpricks right through their clothing. This causes a very uncomfortable feeling that prompts people to move out of the way quickly. Although they claim the drilling of the laser does not cause damage. It sets off nerve responses that can lead to extreme discomfort. The same laser can also be used in an ongoing flashbang grenade that can create repeated sounds to confuse or disorient people. Standard flashbang grenades can only make 1 or 2 loud blasts. MIT researchers are working on a version of the talking laser that is focused at civilians. Their prototype, which is described as described in the Optics Letters Journal, employs a laser beam that wiggles water molecules in the air near a listener's ear. This creates calculated molecular collisions that generate sound waves. The researchers say that these lasers could be used to send messages to specific people across crowded rooms or warn individuals about dangerous situations. The goal is to come up with a single system that can produce a variety of different effects, such as light, heat, and noise, to replace several current non-lethal weapons that produce similar effects individually. The idea of a safer way for our military to send messages without putting themselves in harm's way is a good one, but like many inventions that appear to have relatively noble purposes on the surface, it is not hard to imagine all the ways that firing talking plasma laser balls could go wrong. What could the voices be used to drive people to do in the wrong hands? So there you go. That was that. That was B2K. As written by Cassie B. over on naturalnews.com. Again, not new.
Well, I agree there with, it scrolled by. Oh, goodness. I'm not even sure who it was now. It scrolled away. I think it was Wahoo. I may be wrong. We are waking up. Yeah, we've been hearing about it. It's been around for over 20 years. And for sure, I feel the same way about that. If they're telling us what they could do, then they're doing that and way beyond, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's how it's been in the airfields.
Yeah, that was probably like 50 years ago when they started testing this on people. I know Alan had brought it up Jesse Ventura with his conspiracy theory show that he had.
See, I was thinking I knew something like that too,
Went
but
off the
it's been too
air
many
real
long.
quick.
Yeah, it didn't stay long.
But they mentioned it, and it wasn't military members saying this. These were civilians saying that they'd been hearing voices. There was a bunch of them. And they all came out and said, yeah, somebody's messing with us. This voice-to-skull technology. I remember that one.
Yeah,
well, there's a lot of people I follow on Twitter that claim to be targeted. Hey, I hear break music.
That's it. We shall be right back.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Portland shooting suspect killed. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Michael Reinhold, suspected in the killing of a right-wing counter-protester in Portland, Oregon last Saturday, is dead. Shot and killed in Lacey, Washington, police say, when he pointed a gun at officers who were moving in to arrest him.
We can confirm that there was 4 members of the offender apprehension team that did fire their weapons.
Lieutenant Ray Brady of the Thurston County, Washington Sheriff's Office, only hours before his death, Reinhold all but admitted shooting Aaron Danielson last weekend, but telling Vice it was self-defense.
I had no choice. I mean, I had a choice. I could have sat there and watched them kill a friend of mine of color, but I wasn't going to do that.
Reinhold had at one point said he was 100% Antifa. A police officer has been shot and killed in Cleveland.
This officer was out doing what all police officers do, trying to protect the people of the city, and he gave his life.
Police Chief Calvin Williams, the officer's car was found crashed into a playground. Police asking anybody who saw it to come forward. An angry President Trump denying a magazine report that says he disparaged wounded and fallen American soldiers. The president telling reporters last night,
for somebody to say the things that they say I said is a total lie. It's fake news. It's a disgrace. And frankly, it's a disgrace to your profession.
The president was returning from a campaign swing in Pennsylvania where he told supporters in Latrobe not to believe the polls. Joe Biden traveled to Kenosha, Wisconsin yesterday, where he spoke by phone with police shooting victim Jacob Blake.
He talked about how nothing was going to defeat him, how whether he walked again or not, he was not going to give up.
Biden also said that nothing justifies the violence that followed Blake's shooting by police. America is listening to Fox News.
You must unite what has been set aside.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. Here.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it.
Well, with that
because there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
The iron you need to get what you want.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Man, that first hour flew by. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Ironworx, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, being live streamed also on YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Hell, we're all kinds of places across the plane. But thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We surely do appreciate it. It is the highlights of my week, being able to come and hang out with you fine people. Don't mind me, I'm still here caffeinating.
Indeed. I had to quit. I was on my third one. I was like, hey, you know what? I'll be vibrating soon. So I've shifted to tea now. Here's looking at you, John and Adam. Some tea.
Look at you, how sophisticated.
Wait, pinky's out. Oh, my goodness. It's not really sophisticated. That's Southern tea. That's sweet tea. Got me some sweet tea. Do pyramids have windows, Josh? Zach? Don wants to know in chat. I'm not sure. Apparently, I missed a conversation. Man, you look away from chat for 2 seconds and go back, and there's a whole different thread. And your brain goes, wait, what? Oh, I see. The windows and the brain control technology. I see. I'm catching up.
Yeah.
Catching up in chat. So, what other things are happening on this lovely plane of ours?
It's a real good question, boy.
Well, I saw something kind of Looney Tunes. I saw a boat floating upside down. No, it wasn't the big red boat doing some kind of weird atmospheric inversion. Apparently, science has flipped the laws of buoyancy upside down. So apparently, even in our little realm of buoyancy, a buoyant realm that we live in, it apparently doesn't matter because science will fuck that up for you too. I will share the photograph. Oh, it's a video, no less. Well, see, earlier when I saw the story, yesterday when I first saw the story, it was just a picture. I did not know I had a video to actually watch the floating occur. You tune in this afternoon to this same YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, and you will see the miracle of a boat that's floating upside down.
I did drop the picture in chat, or a link to the picture.
Cool.
The picture itself I will drop in the TFR chat, because TFR chat lets you do cool things like that.
It does indeed. I guess I could share the video to the... No, then I'll definitely go crashing down. Yeah, it's kind of, to me, one of those things like when I was a kid, I had this deal that had you hooked the hose up to it and a little spout of water would shoot up out of this little basket that held a ball, and the ball would just sit there and balance on that stream of water. To me, this is kind of that same idea. It's the torsion effect of the water itself holding this thing to the underside of this little stream of water is what I'm seeing. Because if you look at the picture real carefully, you'll see the full boat itself, quote unquote, is encapsulated by water, which is not technically how things float here on our plane. When things are fully encapsulated in water, we call that sinking here on our side of the plane anyway. It might be upside down somewhere else. But yeah, this is more that there's a word for it, and my brain will not figure it out. You can do it like with streams of water that are shooting sideways. If you get them at the right frequency and you get the right ball in it, you can make that ball float sideways in a stream of water. So to me, same idea. Nothing earth-shaking here. Another version of space lettuce, it would seem, Zach. We found 2 off-brand lettuce versions today. Oh, goodness.
There was a good iron story that we had.
Always ready for a good iron story.
Because I saw it, I'm like, ooh, a nice iron story. And I grabbed it, I'm like, what are the chances Walter's already got this one? So I looked, and it was the same picture. I said, yep, that's the same story. I just didn't have iron in the title in the one that you picked. But apparently it would seem that Earth's oxygen, the oxygen here on Earth, has been rusting the moon for billions of years. Who'd have thunk it? You know, that moon, 237,000 miles away, so they say. And Earth's oxygen is causing it to rust.
So Earth's oxygen gets to the moon now? I knew our hydrogen had enveloped the moon. But they're saying that Earth's oxygen gets to the moon.
Right, we never went to space. Now. Even if we went to the moon, we never went to space in their lying model at this point.
Oh, no, in their lying model, we certainly did. It's just that space starts like a quarter of the way in Earth's atmosphere. So, like, yeah, you only have to go up 100 miles and you're in space.
Well, I just saw an article 2 or 3 days ago I didn't include for some reason that I couldn't find later, saying that, yeah, the Earth's atmosphere is out there beyond the moon.
Yeah, the moon is the halfway point.
Ah, there we go. I knew I wasn't crazier than I am.
Nope, we had that story a couple of years ago, maybe? Jesus.
Well, I thought we had covered it too, but I saw it pass back through and thought, oh, more space lettuce-ness. Go ahead, sir.
I just can't believe it's been that long. Since my brain was broken with this idea that the moon is inside Earth's atmosphere. Yeah. Their model says we have been to space. But their model also says we have never left Earth's atmosphere. So there you go. The best of both worlds. Whatever makes you happy. But
CYA, baby, CYA.
To the surprise
of... It's not actually space, but you can think of it as
But
space.
You can think of it as space.
Shout out Adam Meekin.
Well, this is coming out of the University of Hawaii, Manoa. To the surprise of many planetary scientists, the oxidized iron mineral hematite has been discovered at high latitudes on the moon, according to a study published today in the Science Advances, led by Shui Lee, assistant researcher at the Hawaii Institute of Geophysics and Planetology, or HIGP, and the UH Manoa School of Ocean and Earth Science and Technology, SOEST. They sure love their acronyms. Iron is highly reactive with oxygen.
The iron you need to get what you want.
Forming reddish rust commonly seen on Earth. The lunar surface and interior, however, are virtually devoid of oxygen. Didn't we just do a story a few months ago talking about all the oxygen that is contained in the regolith there on the moon? Okay, I was just making sure we did. So, contrary to popular...
That was a different story, Josh.
Oh, right.
It was a different story.
Probably different moon. Or maybe at the lower latitudes. Maybe that's what it is. Because it's in those lower latitudes, there's more oxygen content in the soils. Anyway, they're saying those higher latitudes are virtually devoid of oxygen. So pristine metallic iron is prevalent on the moon, and highly oxidized iron has not been confirmed in samples returned from the Apollo missions. In addition, hydrogen and solar wind blasts the lunar surface, which acts in opposition to oxidation. So the presence of highly oxidized iron-bearing minerals such as hematite on the moon is an unexpected discovery. Our hypothesis is that lunar hematite... Yeah, right, just what I was thinking. Let's see if this hypothesis is even provable. Our hypothesis is that lunar hematite is formed through oxidation of lunar surface iron by the oxygen from Earth's upper atmosphere that has been continuously blown to the lunar surface by solar wind when the moon is in Earth's magnetotail during the past several billion years, said Lee. Okay.
I thought the dust thing from the moon because never mind, go ahead.
I was just wondering how the they're going to prove this hypothesis.
Magneto tail?
That's what it says. Earth's magneto tail. I mean, it could be magneto.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah, me too. I've never heard of a magneto tail.
Magneto? Wait, I know that name. I'm getting a weird feeling.
Tail. Was that a younger Magneto who had the 80s hair thing going on with
Magneto,
the little tail hanging down?
Cerebro, Magneto. What? Mystery Science Theater deep cut.
So I'm still trying to figure out how the solar winds are only pushing to the moon. I mean, wouldn't solar winds sort of be unidirectional? Sort of coming at you?
I thought our magnetic field was keeping the dust on the moon from doing a certain thing before, because we read that story that changed what things were doing with the fields. And
This is the Magneto tail, Walt.
Oh, Magneto. That's right. Magneto. Cerebro, Magneto. Go ahead.
It's a little different.
Well, to make this discovery, Lee, HIGP professor Paul Lucy, and co-authors from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and elsewhere, doesn't say where, just elsewhere, analyzed the hyperspectral reflectance data acquired by Moon Mineralogy Mapper, M3, designed by NASA, JPL onboard India's Chandrayaan-1 mission. This new research was inspired by Lee's previous discovery of water ice on the moon's polar regions. When I examined the M3 data at the polar regions, I found some spectral features and patterns that are different from what we see on the lower latitudes or the Apollo samples, said Lee. I was curious whether it is possible that there are water-rock reactions on the moon. And after months of investigation, I figured out I was seeing the signature of hematite. The team found the locations where hematite is present are strongly correlated with water content at high latitudes. Lee and others, again, no specificity, just others, found previously and are more concentrated on the near side, which always faces the Earth. More hematite on the lunar near side suggested that it may be related to Earth, said Lee. This reminded me of a discovery by the Japanese Kaguya mission that oxygen from the Earth's upper atmosphere can be blown to the lunar surface by solar wind when the moon is in the Earth's magneto tail. So Earth's atmospheric oxygen could be the major oxidant to produce hematite. Water and interplanetary dust impact may also have played critical roles.
As I'm searching for that dust story that I remember so well, it's actually making my nose tickle and I'm about to sneeze. I ran by the story where they were telling us back in July that NASA has pumped millions in funding into a company called Pioneer Astronautics to harvest all that lovely oxygen that's just laying around there in the lunar regolith. So just a little flashback for you as I search here through for the other story. Okay, so back in July, we also found that humans never left Earth's atmosphere. You go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. I'll find it. I know it's here somewhere. I'm feeling close to it.
Well, interestingly, hematite is not absolutely absent from the far side of the moon, where Earth's oxygen may have never reached. Although much fewer exposures were seen, said Lee, the tiny amount of water observed at lunar high latitudes may have been substantially involved in the hematite formation process on the lunar far side, which has important implications for interpreting the observed hematite on some water-poor S-type asteroids. Super important. This discovery will reshape our knowledge about the moon's polar region, said Lee. Earth may have played an important role on the evolution of the moon's surface. Research team hopes that NASA's Artemis missions can return hematite samples from the polar regions. The chemical signatures of those samples can confirm their hypothesis. Right. Whether the lunar hematite is oxidized from Earth's oxygen over billions and billions and billions of years, because that's how science works, that's what it'll confirm. And it may help reveal the evolution of the Earth's atmosphere in the past billions of years. Full stop. End of story. STFU.
Yeah, that was one of the dumber ones. That had to be written by a person. I don't think a computer would go that stupid.
That stupid? I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It just
No,
says
the
it was provided
computer
by
mind
University
doesn't-
of Hawaii, Manoa. It does not give a byline for an author that I see.
Imagine that. Yeah, go try to find the person who discovered that Venus was the same size as Earth. I can't find that person. Not one person wanted to put their name on that big pile of smelly piece of shit. They say, what's his name? Not Aristotle. Galileo was the first person to notice that it had a crescent shape with his first telescope, which I highly doubt that was the first one. But yeah, nobody wants to take credit for saying, yep, Venus is the same size as Earth, and now we're going to do all our math from that assumption. I can't find the person who assumed it. Just throwing that out there. I looked for it for a few hours right before we left Denver. Could not find anything about who said Venus was the same size as Earth. Not out there. Yeah, if anybody can find something, that'd be awesome. Because apparently, they don't know who said it. But everybody just ran with it.
See, what you're saying is there's some assumptions and presumptions in their scientific methods. That's what it sounds like.
And it's not that it's just an assumption. It's the fact that nobody wants to take credit for this assumption. Like, they knew one day it was all going to come crashing down and just people are going to catch on to this. And they're like, you're not putting my name on that. Make up another person like you did with Aristarchus or Eratosthenes. You're just going to have to make somebody up and give them credit. I ain't putting my name on that.
I mean, I'll use it. I'll figure out the distance to the sun. But I'm not going to claim to have made that original observation. If I'm wrong, it's not because of me. It's because of whoever it was that decided Venus was the same size as Earth. Not my fault.
Plausible deniability.
It ain't me, babe. It ain't me.
Constance in the chat said it was Greta. We can give the credit to Greta.
How dare you?
Oh, jeez.
I was just listening to that song.
I don't know. It's one of those funny ones. It's like, yeah, who figured that out? I mean, Newton didn't even want to take credit for gravity. If you've ever read his equation, that's like a Bible long, never even finished it. You know how many times he uses the word if? The very first word.
There you go. First word out of his mouth.
It's if. If this is like this, then all this shit applies. If. And it's a big if. Yeah, just food for thought.
Go away from my window, leave at your own chosen speed. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'm not the one you need. You say you're looking for someone who's never weak, but always strong. To protect.
I really thought the chorus would have been a little bit sooner. It started off differently. Oh well. Maybe I should have done a little bit of planning. But it's
one to open each and every door, but it ain't me, baby.
No, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me
All right, that's all I wanted.
So was that Johnny Cash?
I was Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash.
I was about to say in June, huh?
So he did that before Bobby D?
I believe so. I believe. I might be wrong, because it was probably right around that time where songwriters were just selling songs to anybody that record it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Originally recorded prior to 1972, it says. I don't know. I just don't know. Nope, I guess the original lyricist was Bob Dylan. So I guess it was Johnny that covered it, not the other way around.
Yeah, I know Bob had covered a few different people, but most of them are the old blues guys or folk singers. Who wrote House to the Rising Sun?
That's a real good question.
Was it Eric Burton?
Who wrote?
We got to quit doing this.
House of the Rising
Google searching.
Sun.
Yeah, it says the Animals. Who originally sang it? Yeah, the Animals.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. 1964. Five Finger Death Punch covered it in 2013, which actually could be a version I like. Whereas Woody Guthrie covered it in 1967.
Yep, Bob covered it too. I think he did Woody's version actually, because the words aren't exactly the same. Yeah, that was the first song I ever learned on the guitar.
Nice. So
yeah, it was a good practice learning to meet your guitar and learning to know it, where every chord is and all that kind of stuff. Good practice. Very well.
That's cool. Whoa.
How many of these copyright warnings can we get for one show?
What? Let's get them all. Get all of them.
Who
that
was
a wake up. That's better than caffeine.
How's your pain levels?
That killed it.
Good.
Killed it.
Funny how that works.
It is, dude. It's hard to believe that album came out 30 years ago. It makes me feel old. Because that was a late era Judas Priest album. Because I was into Priest early on. Like I was just having a Judas Priest conversation with a buddy yesterday. How before I found some of the heavier 80s Metallica and Megadethy dudes, I was all about Priest. That was my heaviest thing. They were like scary heavy. And now when I go back and listen to things like Breaking the Law, it sounds so tame, so tame. But this we just heard was Painkiller, and definitely not a tame song at all. In fact, it was kind of a comeback almost for them, because right up to that point, I believe they had just done Turbo and some other lame album along those lines. Everybody did some weird shit in the 80s. ZZ Top played synthesizers, and Judas Priest had synthesizers, and apparently the 80s just over-synthesized a lot of people. But this album, they said, no, screw all those keyboards, man. Where's those guitars? And they came back hard. Of course, right after this, Rob left, and of course, now we know why, but of course, I don't know. Not everybody may not know why. If you don't know why Rob left Judas Priest for a while, go watch the movie called Rockstar with Marky Mark and what's her name? The friend chick. Anyway, yeah. That's the story of Judas Priest, if you didn't know.
I didn't know. Never heard of it.
Wink, Wink, Rockstar, the movie with Marky Mark.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, watch that, and you have now seen the story of why Judas Priest lost Rob and why Rob came back. It is the exact, and that was the story. That was what it was until, I think it was the band. I don't think it was Rob, because he'd already left and come out. So it was the band themselves that didn't want the story to be about them. So it changed to some fictional band with lots of amazing guitarists in it.
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iAlife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iAlife.com, AYA life.com.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods is filled with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brett Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Enter the Paranormal Portal if you dare.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women And many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires.
For you.
In a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way, we are the way, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio.
So you just decided to melt your faces off here this morning, or send you to bed with a raging metal something. Anyway, yeah. Again, feeling very ancient right now. 40 years ago, Ozzy, along with a young man named Randy Rhoads, who was a guitar phenomenon, did a little show in a little place called Glasgow Apollo in Scotland. Hello, Les. And it was they build this band. I mean, they build the new Ozzy band, not even with his name. They build it as a fake name, a fake band called Law, because they didn't know, had no clue, even though he was pumped up about his new guitar player and the new band he had assembled. You know, he was pretty much done, over and out. Sabbath was dead and they were done, and he had, you know, drunk and drugged himself to a coma basically. And then he met Randy, and that invigorated him musically. And if you've ever studied Randy Rhoads behind the scenes and what he was really about musically, taking classes, classical guitar classes, and every time they would stop in on tour, it was like, yeah, he would have gone and done some phenomenal things with music if anyway. So yeah, definitely amazing that was 40 years ago that they did their first show, and we're so unsure of it all that they billed it under a fake band name. But the band and the album that was resulting, which was the first solo album, Blizzard of Oz, I think it sold like, what, 6 million copies? I saw somewhere in the article here. 6 million. Definitely. Of course,
Have
that
you
band is
ever
no
heard
longer
of
around. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hot Tuna, Walt?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. They were metal before metal
Appalachian
was a thing.
bluegrass blues. No, no, Hot Tuna's real. It's Appalachian bluegrass blues. It's the lead guitarist and bass player, I think, from Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, those guys. And it's like this own style. I don't think they made it up, but it sounds like you're playing two guitars.
That's
It's
awesome.
really cool. We were gonna send my little brother. It was like $5,000 for a week to go learn from these guys. But it wasn't like rock and roll guitar camp where, you had to know what you were already doing with the guitar. They weren't there to teach beginners. You had to know what you were doing. Yeah, but it was like $5,000 to go and learn this style of music. 8 hours a day, 6 days. On the seventh day, you put on a show and you got to jam with them, pick a song, and you got to play it with them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was doing a bunch of other stuff, so we didn't send him at the time, but we were looking into it. Yeah, check him out, Hot Tuna. Really cool style of guitar. I can't do it. It's kind of like Starry Night, Vincent, by Don McLean. Sounds nice and simple, and it's like, oh, I could play that, and then you go look at it, it's like, yeah, right, what is this guy doing? It's got like three brains all playing together at the same time. But yeah, you would appreciate him, well, for sure, Hot Tuna.
I know I've checked them out because when you said that about the guitarist, and then isn't there a bass player that was like known from other bands and them? It was like a super group kind of basically at the time.
I'm pretty sure there's three of them. Yeah.
I just must have got the wrong vibe. I'm trying to find it now, but I've got things so much open on my computer at this point. Jack Cassidy on bass. That's who it was. I just found it. Yep. Jack Cassidy. With a whole lot of other people throughout the years. Apparently, they were still doing stuff as late as at least 2019 in different versions. That's crazy. Or no, 2009. Sorry, I was reading too fast.
Yeah, now I'm looking at stuff. I gotta stop. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. All this music reminiscing was like, oh man, for sure.
Everybody can take a deep breath. The sun is coming around again.
I was worried.
We're good. Just gotta keep you guys on the loop.
We got you on point, man.
Alexander Lightwater.
I know. I missed that last break.
Missed the last break, you said?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about, hey, we're coming up on our last break.
We all missed it.
I know, we just rolled. I was in chat.
I thought we had at least 10 minutes left. That segment flew by.
Yeah.
But Alexander Lightwater in chat says he was just outside having an amazing talk with the garbage collector. I recommend everybody do that. If you can't get a chance to get out there and say hi and tell them how much you appreciate what they do, drop them a 10 spot. Leave them with some Gatorade or some bottles of water. Maybe a little snack, something out there. I have worked as a garbage collector. Do what?
I said it'll make their day a whole lot brighter. Just that. They could be in a real shitty mood and they come up on something like that and it's just like instant smile, I'm sure.
I like that, Josh, a lot.
Especially over the last 6 months, their job has been especially disgusting. People being home more, they're generating a lot more trash, but specifically a lot more, masks, gloves, tissues, things like that. And I think people get lazy. They don't bag their trash. They're busy cleaning stuff out, so they're just leaving big loads out at the curb, thinking that it's just the trash man's job to take it because they put it out there. Yeah, that job is no joke. And when you start thinking where we would be without them, here's something. With all the homeschooling and distance learning. If you get a chance and you have kids, even if you don't have kids, just take a field trip to a landfill. Go look at how much trash your little area right there produces. Because we've all got our own separate landfills because every community is doing this. People are just generating these enormous amounts of trash. But you actually have to go and see it and smell it to understand just how disgusting being a garbage man is and how underrated and underappreciated garbage collectors are. So I just wanted to put that out there. I have a good friend of mine who
I
still
think
does
garbage people, should be the third highest paid people after police officers and teachers. That's my opinion.
It is
I think
amazing.
garbage, they're like one of the most important people of our society.
They
really.
are. And you'd think
When
they
you
would
think
be
about
paid
it.
accordingly. But they're not.
But they're not at all. So underappreciated. Yeah, here in South Carolina, they don't have like even garbage collectors. There aren't garbage trucks that come around. Every so many, miles, I don't know, there's a bunch of them here in this local area. They have these little places, and you can take your recyclings and your garbage, and you just go to your local one and drop it off. And the money they make off the recycling pays for all of it, for all these different centers. And then there's the big dump, which, like, you're absolutely correct. Most dumps are disgusting, horrible, nasty places. This place is so clean. You go driving up, and there's like 20 big giant bins that are over the edge of this like cliff face with the big industrial railing there and everything. You just back your vehicle up to it and throw it over the cliff, and there's all these bins at the bottom that collect it. And when you have like big dressers and stuff like that, they fall so far that they all break into smaller pieces just from the drop. The design is perfect, and the way they do it is just beautiful. I mean, it's a great society system of doing this instead of, having the garbage man come and get your stuff. And people around here really took to it, and it helps not force, but people tend to recycle more doing it this way. I don't know why, but the guys there that work there, they ask you. They're real, they're polite about it, but they're like, hey, if you could help us, just separate your stuff, because then they don't charge us as much when we go to get rid of it for having paper and plastic and all the trash mixed together. If we separate it, we actually can make money off of this, and we'll never have to charge you for any of this stuff. But I really like the way that they do it out here. It's more like communal based, getting everybody somewhat involved, and it kind of just makes you want to, hey, I can do that. I can just separate this and throw it in a different bin. Yeah, I've noticed that out here a lot more than in the big city. That people recycle a lot more out here. But yeah, my mom used to always leave a 6-pack every so often, every couple months. She'd take a 6-pack out there and put it on the garbage for the garbage man. It was different times back then. It was 80s.
Back when you could drink a beer at 5 a.m. while you're collecting trash.
But yeah, they have a rough job, a really rough job that nobody really wants to do.
And it's so dangerous. One of the
it
most
is. Hanging
dangerous
off the
jobs.
back of the vehicle, and people going by, and no way.
These days, the throwers that hang off the back are really few and far between. That's one of those jobs that has almost been done away with through the mechanization of garbage trucks.
Automation, yep. They just go and pick it up and dump it in with a big claw.
Yep, the side loaders, and you can just pick them up, grab them, and flip them and dump them and put them back. And it really is the fastest way using a side loader like that, because you can go through and do it in a fraction of the time than having to pull forward, wait for your thrower to grab the cans, put it on there, lift it, tilt it, dump it, and run the cans back, and then move on to the next house. I've had a driver that would just, basically, I didn't get to ride on the back of the truck unless we were going between neighborhoods. He
Just
drove down the
running
street.
behind it?
Yep, and I
Yep.
just ran next to it, grabbed the cans, and went along. And I'm telling you, in the dead of summer, wearing work boots and jeans, and I guess I was wearing a short sleeve shirt, but God, it's hot and it's gross and it's nasty. I was glad to not do that job anymore. By the time I left, I was actually driving a small, very small trash truck. They called it a pack rat. And I was driving through affluent neighborhoods who they paid extra so they didn't have to take their trash to the curb. They could just basically put it in the can outside their back door because they had these great big, huge houses. So I just have to kind of drive up the servants' entrance in these driveways and in this little truck and actually grab their cans for them and take their trash out for them, dump it, and then run their cans back to their house. It was quite the ordeal, but man, some people have so much damn money. It's just so far outside of my reality, my existence. Like I couldn't imagine making $5,000 every month. That sort of money is just lost to me. And that's not even that much money. We're not talking millions of dollars. That's almost a pretty low income these days. $50,000 a year is not a whole lot. But it's still a hell of a lot more than I've ever made. But I wasted away a lot of my life not planning for the future. Living in the moment, I did. And I enjoyed cooking.
A lot of people. Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
I had nothing. I got nothing, Zach. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of people, I would talk to them, and they don't think that $1 million is a lot of money. Now, all of a sudden, like $1 million isn't that much money. It's like, are you serious? You know how many people don't make $1 million their whole lives? Like you were just saying, $50,000 a year isn't a whole lot of money, but most people don't make $50,000 a year ever in their life. Most people. So yeah, $1 million, it takes a while to earn a wage of $1 million. If you're not out there making your own money and actually, creating your own wealth, you're probably not going to make, if you do, it'll just be over $1 million. And that'll be, 30 some odd years, 40 years of work. There's people out there that make under $20,000 a year and get by still. So yeah, this whole idea of, $1 million isn't that much money. They would ask me when I was younger, we'd play a game, what would you do for $1 million when I was working at the hospital in the kitchen? And it was usually something gross that we'd see, cleaning up the trays after lunch or whatever. It's a big assembly line thing, and it's nasty. I mean, you pull out this filter thing, and it's just full of all that big food chunks all stuck down in there. I remember this one guy, Hugo, asked me, Zach, would you let me tie your hands behind your back and eat all that for $1 million? And they're all looking, it's like, hell yeah. In a second, they all just started cracking up laughing because I was, the only white guy that worked there. And they didn't treat me like I was ritzy or wealthy or anything like that. I was, I was the long-haired hippie kid. But they used to make jokes like that about, white people having all the money and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Zach, would you do that for me? Hell yes, I do that. And they just start cracking up laughing. I like this kid. He's all right. Man, I miss those days.
I will say there's not too much I wouldn't do for $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go hurt people or anything like that, but yeah, eating stuff and whatnot. $1 million? Shit. Well, back in the day, I would have. Anymore now, I made up my choice about money. Take it or leave it, whatever. But yeah, definitely at one time I was definitely all about the Benjamins, and I would have been, give me a biscuit. I'll eat all the last little drippings and droppings down there. Amazing what they can get us to do with this fake fiat
I know, right?
garbage, this trash. Yeah.
Turn us all into a bunch of whores.
Well,
All
gentlemen,
too
we're
true.
about 5 minutes away from another one in the books.
We certainly are.
Have an interesting show planned this afternoon.
Right.
Not much
I was
planning
just about
involved.
to say that. It will be hopefully, if things go according to sort of plan, we will have the Adam Meakin on board this afternoon as well. So,
and it's about goddamn time.
In a minute.
Just saying.
I was going to say, I know it's been a minute, and you guys have missed him as much as we have, and definitely we've been missing him. So, come hang out and say hey to Adam. And if he's not there, we'll spank him just like we need to do for Jeff Roger.
There you go. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Something like
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Then we may have a trick or two up our sleeve. You never know what could happen. Hell, we might even open up the phone line so you guys can call in and talk to the Adam Meakin.
And on Wednesday, we did want to kind of get a good conversation in with Adam before Friday come, because it's been a while since we've all been able to sit and talk to Adam. But that was mainly the reason why I didn't post a link for the Iron Scouts on Wednesday, was just because, well, I was fighting with my mom, so I wasn't even there a whole lot, but just kind of bounced in and out. But we wanted to get a chance to talk to Adam. But I think,
and you just think these 2 hours fly by. Those hours went by very quickly.
But I think we will start trying to do a monthly link sharing. So if you are really interested and you really want to hear more of us, you could just click the link and come join and hang out with us for, I'm thinking once a month would be pretty good. We'll just do it for the Iron Scouts. It won't be live. It won't be broadcast or recorded or put out again anywhere else. It's just us hanging out, chit-chatting with people with whom we enjoy their company. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Something offline or off air anyway. But yeah, that only gives us about 2 minutes before we hit the end of the show. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you guys this morning.
It has indeed. It definitely has. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you in chat. Thank you for all the ideas and different show show titles I have written down for future usage. I appreciate it all. Thank you all. I'll definitely, I've got too much open again. Definitely be checking out the hot tuna soon. I know I've heard it back in the day. It's just been a while. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Walter. Pleasure as always. Make sure you tune back in next week on Tuesday morning from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. to noon Greenwich Mean Time, or 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. over there in the Pacific.
Yo, before we head out, I finally saw, I was going to go back and see if it was there, and now I see Kelly Lay is at kelly.lay2017@gmail.com if anybody heading to the Flattoberfest, driving through the 28734 zip code in Western North Carolina. Get in touch with Kelly. Let Kelly know. At kelly.lay2017@gmail.com. I'll make sure and put that in the show description for you as well, Kelly.
And Zach, keep your ears open while you're there. Maybe James True on his way through, or maybe James knows somebody that's also headed that way for Flattoberfest that could give her a lift. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for sure. Would love to share some energy with you, Kelly, for sure. You seem like an awesome lady. Well, that about wraps it up, guys. I love y'all.
Love you too, Zach. I will talk to you guys here in just a few hours.
Yep. Love you guys.
Gotta go.
Thank y'all. Love y'all. Stay human.
Take care, all.
Stay human. Absolutely. All right, guys. Make sure you be good, be well. Have a great weekend. We'll see you this evening right here on the Iron Row Media YouTube channel for another exciting episode of Have No Fear. Other than that, thanks.